Not most of the time. Enjoy the show.
This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
From the border of liberty and prosperity in the highway to the north, this is Safety Wars for Monday, March 31st, 2024. What am I saying? 2025. Usually it's about this time every year I screw up the year. Aye. How's everybody doing? So, got a lot of stuff we're working on here. We've been off the air for a couple of days. Again, I can do maybe 2-3 good programs a week, but I do every night. Unless I had nothing going on during the day. It's a little bit rough. I hope you all appreciate it. A lot of stuff coming out. We're going to have a very busy. We're lining up for the rest of the year here. We're doing safety training classes, the maritime class, construction safety outreach class. I was dealing with a contractor today, and they had OSHA 10 as their, on their qualifier. Okay, which one? Which OSHA 10? Construction, it's a general industry. Maritime, is it? What is it? The maritime. It's OSHA 10. OSHA 10 outreach training. So later this week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're going to be at Rutgers doing our reauthorization class for construction outreach training. We are going to be offering all of those live. We're going to be working on some marketing and advertisements, everything on Zoom or in person, and we're going to take it from there. Let me remind you, we have a little somber note here. I hate to hit you folks with a somber note right at the beginning of the program, but today is 4 years that my mother-in-law, Nancy Griggs, died here right upstairs here on our front porch from what appeared to be a massive heart attack or stroke. Basically, when she passed out in my arms, my brother-in-law said she knew that was it. So why do I bring this up? Not to upset people. I know people are very upset over death and things of that nature, right? Understandably, because death is normal, but going through it like that, no, not very normal for most of the time, thank God. So what I'm going to point out to you guys, the importance of first aid and CPR training. Because she was given very quick first aid CPR training with chest compressions, she had the best shot of survival. Best shot that she had with that. Immediate. We acted like a well-oiled machine, my brother-in-law and I. But we weren't successful. I'm told by one of our listeners here that it only works about 40 to 50% of the time. And he was trying to console me, and I said, okay, well, that's good. About 50% of the time it does work with this. And he's so it's not it's an important skill to have. It's an important skill to know. And that's what I want to point out to you folks. All right, so go and get it. Now, I was going to do an hour or two on politics. I'm going to hold off on that tonight because I'm working on a story here, a program that unfortunately will air tomorrow, right, for hour 2. And it's not an April Fool's Day program. I know April Fool's is tomorrow. You guys, Jim, you're doing April Fool's. Ha, 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 ha. No, it's a very serious topic that we're going to discuss. And it has to do with government policy and some things I feel that need to be changed here. And for certain people, it may be triggering. There may be controversial, but I don't think it's so controversial here, especially in light of recent information that we have and experiences we've had over the last couple of years with COVID-19 and the policy and a whole bunch of other stuff and shenanigans that's come out in the last 4 or 5 years on things. So we're going to hold off on that till uh, later on. We may record it tonight, but no, I want to make it a good program because I'm sure people will watch it or listen to it. So we're going to talk about safety news and views today. And I've been reading a couple of books on root cause analysis. And I just want to point out one of the books had said something that we've known in the hop world, right? Going way back. Root cause analysis is best applied to machinery and processes, not to people. Because we know, we have the whole Jenga thing right behind my shoulder here, right? There's a lot that goes on to an incident or accident normally. There's never one thing that goes wrong. It's a lot of things that go wrong. Sort of like the old Swiss cheese model. Things line up. Right. And no, with that, if you check on root cause analysis, it's very easy, right? Because you have competing needs out there. And it's very, very easy for people to go and automatically now start blaming individuals for issues when it's really a systemic problem with things. That's why we avoid root cause analysis. We want to learn. Again, this adversarial stuff in our society has got to end, where everybody's an enemy of everybody else. Everyone's an adversary. We're not talking friendly competition where you have groups of businesses, one allow compete another, best friend. We're not talking about that. Where the default automatically is everyone's your enemy and everybody is against each other. We're seeing that right now with all these riots, mini riots, and vandalism at the Tesla dealers. Do you really think you're helping your cause with that? Maybe at the end of this, what we need to do is compare the damage done by these Tesla protesters versus what was done on January 6th versus what was done in 2020 with all the riots and everything. And maybe we'll figure out who the greatest threat to democracy is. Just the way it is here. It's you cannot be at each other's throats. Unity, we get along. You have to recognize that divine spark, that's out there in your fellow human being. Right? The Bible says a lot. But one of the things that the Bible does say is we are all created in the image of God. You have a divine spark. You are not worthless. It's the way it is with things. So, again, as usual, what do we preach here? We preach peace. We preach getting along. We preach having backbone, especially if you're a safety professional. You got to have some freaking backbone. Not to be afraid of people, to hold your head up high and be confident in what you're doing and know your limitations. And that's what my opening monologue is here today. Friend of the program, Ian Punnett, rest in soul, used to have a sign off to his program, and I'll sign off this monologue, this one. Deus te amat. Right? You can look up what that is in Latin. And we're going to go with that. We're going to go to our first commercial break.
From the front lines of the safety war, it's Safety Wars with your host, Jim Posel on Safety FM. Get ready to face the harsh reality.
Yeah. Oh. 2025, it's rolling in. Safety first, let's start the spin. Protect your hands, your eyes, your grin. Oceans heal, let's all begin. Fireworks, they light the skies, but safety glows within our eyes. Goggles, gloves, a wise disguise. Keep those limbs low, no goodbyes. Or drop the ball, not the guard. OSHA rules may seem so hard, but they're here to keep us smart, safe and sound in every part.
In an unpredictable world, one voice rises above the chaos. Meet Jim Posel, a seasoned safety expert who's navigated through some of the most dangerous scenarios, from anthrax, explosive cleanups, disasters, and numerous environmental cleanups, and lived to tell the tale. Now he's bringing his wealth of knowledge, insights, and experiences to you through Safety Wars. From workplace hazards to the hidden dangers in your own home, Jim covers it all with his engaging storytelling. Safety Wars isn't just a podcast, it's your guide to a safer world. Join Jim Posel and become part of the Safety Wars revolution. Available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts and videos. Safety Wars. Your safety is our mission.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hackneyed? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that is designed to actually address and assess your hazards and liabilities and is not standardized baloney from generations ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call me, Jim Posel, at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you are receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces. And we are back with everything going on here. How's everything going? We're going to go and start with Department of Labor news. As we pointed out, we have from a very high source in Department of Labor that they have all this stuff backed up, all these press releases backed up, and they're just waiting for authorization to release them. Right, they're still getting their ducks in a row here in the Department of Labor and OSHA. Secretary Chavez, DeRaymer, and this is from today, begins clawing back billions in unspent COVID funds. U.S. Department of Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRaymer today announced $1.4 billion in unused COVID-era funding has been returned to taxpayers, the U.S. Treasury's General Fund, with action being taken to cover the remaining $2.9 billion. The roughly $4.3 billion was intended for states to use for temporary unemployment insurance during the pandemic. Instead, several states continued spending millions of dollars despite no longer meeting necessary requirements, which was uncovered in a 2023 audit. Any money still sitting around for pandemic-era unemployment funds is a clear misuse of Americans' hard-earned tax dollars, Secretary Chavez DeRaymer said. I'm keeping my promise to be a good steward of your money by rooting out waste and ensure America's workers always come first. If you notice, that's in like every press release. Make sure America's workers always come first. It is unacceptable that billions of dollars went unchecked in a program that ended several years ago, Deputy Secretary of Labor Keith Sonderling said. In a huge win for the American taxpayer, we've clawed back these unused funds and will keep working to eliminate waste, fraud, and abuse. This funding originated under the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act of March 2020, which established a temporary full federal funding of the first week of compensable regular unemployment for states with no waiting a week program. The program was intended to provide an expanded unemployment insurance to Americans unable to work due to the pandemic. Although TFFF was closed in 2021, the 2023 audit found 4 states were allowed to access the funding despite not meeting program requirements. And they have a link to the full audit. Let's see what that is. So this is from 2023, and the previous administration let this go on for a year afterwards, right? Over a year and a half afterwards, right? This is from the Inspector General of the day. U.S. DOL Office of Inspector General contracted with independent CPAs, to conduct a performance audit of the Employment Training Administration's oversight and temporary full federal funding of the first week of compensable regular unemployment for states with no waiting week. Pardon me. Let's see the results. Rocha found, wow, what? I'm shocked here. Rocha found that the ETA and states do not always meet the requirements or statutory intent of the TFFF program. Specifically, individual claimants waited to receive urgently needed UI benefits during the pandemic. States receive TFFF funding when they are not eligible, and states TFF accounts will have unused fund balances that have not been reconciled and closed after de-obligation. Wow, we're shocked. We're shocked that they didn't do what they were supposed to. You know? Not really shocked, but you know. The U.S. Department of Labor appoints Julia Pollock as chief economist. The U.S. Department of Labor today announced the appointment of Julia Pollock as chief economist. In this role, she will lead the department's economic research and provide analysis on labor-related policy programs. I'm honored to serve this administration and contribute to the Department of Labor's mission, said Pollock. In this pivotal moment for the American workforce, I look forward to using rigorous analysis of remote economic prosperity for job seekers, workers, businesses, and retirees. Pollock comes to the department from the hiring site ZipRecruiter, where hopefully they can find her on ZipRecruiter, but where she served as chief economist. Earlier in her career, Pollock was a doctoral fellow, assistant policy analyst at the RAND Corporation, and taught economics at Pepperdine University as an adjunct instructor. She always also worked as a research assistant for the defense studies at the Heritage Foundation. And she graduated from Harvard University with a Master of Philosophy and Policy Analysis from the Hardy Rand Graduate School. And she also served as a drilling reservist in the U.S. Navy from 2011 to 2022. Well, good luck in your position, man. So this is a news release. And basically, this is on seasonally adjusted data from the Department of Labor from last week. In the week ending March 22nd, the advanced figure for seasonally adjusted initial claims was 224,000, a decrease of 1,000 from the previous week revised level. The previous week's level was revised up by 2,000. The 4-week moving average was 224,000, right? So that's our graph on there. Let's scooch on over to the U.S. EPA. EPA resumes cleanup of residential yards at the Jacobsville Superfund site in Evansville, Indiana. A lot goes on in Evansville, Indiana. I tell you what. One of our guests on this program, Alicia Bjornson, is from Evanston originally. And she went to college with, the name escapes you, from the movie Better Off Dead. John Cusack. John Cusack. So, right, that 80s movie. By the way, right, I have to update my leadership presentation because I tell you what, I gave it on Friday, and I had a whole bunch of young people that didn't get the reference, and they've never heard of the movie Cool Hand Luke, the sweatiest movie in the world, or Magnum Force, Dirty Harry. Just one of those things. Kids aren't really watching movies nowadays, I guess. Classic movies. This week, U.S. EPA is starting to sample and clean up soil at about 350 residential yards at the Jacobsville Neighborhood Soil Contaminator Superfund site in Evansville, Indiana. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers will manage the day-to-day cleanup work. God help them all. My prayers are with you. Right? Crews will remove lead and arsenic contamination from yards near the Ballard, Bayard Park, Culver, Fulton Terrace, Haney's Corner, Jacobsville, Jimtown, and Riverside neighborhoods. EPA continues to contact residents to request permission to access and sample additional properties that may require cleanup. Since 2007, EPA has removed contaminated soil from more than 4,000 residential properties and recreational areas at the site, which was added to the Superfund's National Priorities list in 2004. Well, why do I mention the Army Corps of Engineers? I say, well, no, God help us all. I was on a job, not unlike the one that's we're talking about here, where they were in charge, and the level of, I don't want to say incompetence, but disregard for people was unparalleled, especially with lead issues. So, no, I talked about him before here. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. Since 2007, EPA removed contaminated soil from more than 4,000 residential properties and recreational areas at the site, which added to Superfund's National Priorities list in 2004. The agency continues to work closely with local government and community groups to expedite cleanup and help revitalize Evansville neighborhoods affected by the contamination. Public input sought for permit controlling pollutants from entering Massachusetts rivers, ponds, lakes, and wetlands. EPA announced a newly scheduled public hearing for an updated draft of the general permit for all small and regulated municipal separate storm sewer systems. MS4s, right? 4 S's there. Located in Mass, right? The draft permit was initially placed on public notice late last November. This affects more than 260 municipalities in the Commonwealth, all of which were already covered under previous Massachusetts MS4 general permit and EPA issued in 2016. The draft permit requires municipal permittees that discharge into nutrient-impaired water bodies to begin installing stormwater treatment based on source identification reports developed under the 2016 permit. Finally, the draft permit proposes a new requirement for permittees discharging to water bodies in the Mystic River watershed to reduce the phosphorus load in there, right? By 20%. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin announces the closure of a $4 million Biden EPA museum, saving over $600,000 for taxpayer funds annually. Let's see. They say watch on YouTube. So we're going to see what we got here. Will this work? Apparently not working. Try this again. All right, we opened it up in YouTube. Oh, here it is. Hold on. And it looks like audio isn't coming through on here. I don't know why. And it looks like audio isn't coming through on here. I don't know why. And it looks like audio isn't coming through. We're letting it run here. We're letting it run here. Sorry about that. We're probably going to be getting that on the podcast then. So basically, this is what sorry about that. Lee Zeldin had said here. Basically, this is U.S. EPA. Blah, blah, blah. They spent $4 million in taxpayer dollars. The museum is located within the office space at EPA headquarters in Washington, D.C. Less than 2,000 external visitors between May 2024 and February 2025. It costs $600,000 per year to operate. Quote, our commitment to responsible stewardship of taxpayer dollars remains unwavering as I continue to oversee a line-by-line review of agency spending. The $4 million cost build is one room, little traffic museum inside of EPA with $600,000 operational costs annually. It's yet another example of waste by the Biden administration that could have instead been spent on remediating environmental issues in forgotten communities. Not to mention, the previous administration curated the contents of the museum with a large focus on environmental justice instead of EPA's core mission. While Americans were left to contend with sky-high prices and inflation, the Biden administration spent millions on this museum to proliferate a political agenda. Gone are the days of funding partisan pet projects to the detriment of American taxpayers, and the agency's mission of protecting human health and the environment, continued Administrator Zeldin. EPA staff amount to more than 40% of visitors, while the museum is free. The cost of taxpayers per external visitor costs $315 per person. Other annual costs at the expense of the American taxpayer include more than $123,000 on cleaning and landscaping, $277,000 for security guards, $54,000 on magnetometer and X-ray maintenance, and more than $54,000 on artifact storage, $40,000 for maintenance of AV equipment. The museum conveniently omits any environmental progress between 2014 and 2021, despite significant accomplishments during the first Trump administration, including a reduction in emissions. The American people saw a significant improvement in air quality and the first ever comprehensive nationwide action plan to address PFAS. Administrator Zeldin has been working expeditiously to rein in wasteful spending. His actions have resulted in more than $22 billion in wasteful grants and contracts canceled. So that was updated today. We'll go through and I will make sure that makes it into the podcast. EPA announces a completion of Hurricane Helene response in Western North Carolina. Today, the U.S. EPA announced that the agency has completed its work supporting the FEMA and North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and local health departments for the hurricane response efforts in Western North Carolina. In February, Administrator Lee Zeldin traveled to Western North Carolina to see damage caused by Hurricane Helene, meet with local partners, and discuss the rebuilding effort. EPA's response included removing processing more than 1,700 orphan containers of oil, propane, and other hazardous materials from land waterways at the request of FEMA and North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality. EPA worked with the Asheville Fire Department Swiftwater Rescue Team and hire local rafting guides to help retrieve containers from the French Broad River, testing over 1,500 samples from private wells at the EPA mobile testing labs in Buncombe and Watauga counties, working with the North Carolina DEQ and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to assess the storm's damage to more than 250 drinking water and wastewater systems, providing technical assistance to water operators, supporting efforts to restore and maintain drinking water systems and other essential services, and assisting the City of Asheville Water Resources Department in restoring drinking water service to 150,000 people in the Asheville area. Advising residents on the importance of following local boil water advisories to prevent waterborne illnesses in accordance with CDC guidelines and in partnership with local health departments. EPA will continue to work closely with federal and state partners to ensure North Carolina residents have safe, clean drinking water and to improve water system resilience in future storm events. Right? So, pretty good things going on there at the EPA. With this, nothing going on in FEMA. In a related story, North Carolinians with uninsured damage or loss from the tropical storm Helene have 1 week remaining to apply for FEMA financial assistance. So look that up, how you could do that. All right. With that. And I got to stop sharing here. And share. Stop sharing. All right. They're not government websites. I'm really not supposed to share them. All right. Let's move on. Mosey on down here. All right, we're going to get into a little bit of political news here, but it's just reporting, not opinion. Yeah, I might give an opinion here or there, but with that, so let's Let's go to another break here, and we'll get back to you. Is your safety training old, stale, and hackneyed? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces. OSHA recordables, catastrophic losses, environmental disasters. You want answers? So do I. This is Jim Posel with Safety Wars.
That's my daddy.
All right, some more DOL news. So this is from Breitbart. Story by Olivia Rondeau, 28th of March, 2025. The U.S. Department of Labor has canceled nearly $600 million in grants to foreign countries in another round of major funding cuts, including $10 million for gender equity in the Mexican workplace. As I pointed out, I think I covered this last program, OSHA's budget is like $700 million. So my question is this. They're giving OSHA being the least funded, very low funded agency of the federal government. Now, they had $600 million in grants in foreign countries. Really? Really? We know where their priorities are, huh? Here. And of course, no one said anything. No one said anything. Everything is fine. No problem. John Clark, a DOL official appointed by President Donald Trump, directed the department's Bureau of International Labor Affairs to axe all 69 of his active grant programs on Wednesday. No, I'm going to say that I've been commenting on this for like a year now. So I'm going to claim victory here. Another victory for Safety Wars. Because I think we were like the only people actively asking a question. Why are we spending all this money here? Why are we involved in all these other countries here with their? As a question, what are we getting out of it? Well, we feel good. Well, feel good when we have $38 trillion in debt. That's how much it costs to feel good, I guess. The Department of Government officially revealed that some 577 million in canceled America Last projects to be $12.12 million for worker empowerment in South America, $625 million for improving and respect for workers' rights in agricultural supply chains, right? And this is from the Doge, their feed, right on X. 6.25 million for improving respect for workers' rights in agricultural supply chains. Right, I mentioned $5 million for elevating participation in the workplace in West Africa. $4.3 million for assisting foreign migrant workers in Malaysia, not this country, in Malaysia. $3 million to enhance Social Security access and worker protections for internal migrant workers in Bangladesh. $3 million for safe and inclusive work environments. I'm sorry, guys. You know, you know, these are slush funds. Let's put them where they're at. Right. Well, let's remember it takes 15.7 years of work for the average American worker to earn $1 million. We're okay with this. We're okay with it, right? We have 50,000 people a year dying, not Jimmy's numbers, the numbers from OSHA, Biden's OSHA, all right, that because every year, because of basically industrial hygiene issues. We're not addressing any of that. Oh, we're not going to address any of that. That's all okay, no problem. It's not an issue. Well, we have money for everything else. Okay, great. Okay. All right. What else we got here? Boom, boom, boom. Here's some. That was from that. We already covered that. $3 billion Louisiana lawsuit could destroy Gulf energy industry, critics warn, as the state's position is questioned. The 1980s law in the main case was never meant to for certain oil concerns, as Chevron spokesman said. This is from Fox News' Charles Kreitz. U.S. energy interests warn that if the first of several expected lawsuits over the decades of land loss, an issue widely acknowledged as a crisis, succeeds, it could threaten the future of American energy exploration. Palaquamines Parish, a coastal jurisdiction of south of New Orleans, which would be called a county in most other states, is seeking billions in damages from Chevron due to allegations surrounding the behavior of its now subsidiary Texaco. Decades after Texaco ceased operations and was acquired by Chevron, the parish and state have teamed up with private plaintiffs' counsel to file dozens of lawsuits under a 1980 law that was never meant to apply to oil and gas activities that predated the enactment of the statute, according to Chevron. The federal Fifth Circuit has already held the plaintiffs' theories are without merit. Parish and state should cease their state efforts to destroy all the oil and gas sector in Louisiana. With that, DC area mall shut down after multiple fights in food court. 3 teens hit with riot charges. I tell you what, my brother John, God rest his soul, the worst. Now he worked his way in he worked for the school district as a janitor at what used to be called Perth Amboy Vocational Technical School. Now it's called Middlesex County Vocational Technical School, I believe, over in Perth Amboy, right across from the McDonald's on Brunswick Avenue there. 3 teenagers faced riot charges and multiple fights. It was the worst thing he ever cleaned up. After that, he soon quit. 3 teenagers faced riot charges after multiple fights broke out inside a Washington, D.C. area mall and forced authorities to close the shopping complex Saturday evening. Officers responded just after 7 p.m. to the Fashion Center at Pentagon City in Arlington, Virginia. They found a very large crowd in the food court and numerous fights happening simultaneously. Video shared on social media shows a massive police response inside the food court. Despite the large police presence, the crowd remained disorderly and fights continued to occur. A 13-year-old girl approached an officer and resisted detainment. Police said the girl was eventually taken into custody with the help of other officers. She was charged with a riot and assault on the police. A 15-year-old girl was taken into custody after assaulting a store employee, a police officer, and mall security personnel, according to authorities. She was charged with assault on police, 2 counts of assault and battery, injury to a person in a riot, and obstruction of justice. Wow. It goes on and on and on. The hell is going on out there? GOP governor rallies around historic proposal to slash state's income tax. I am optimistic, he says. Montana Governor Greg Gianforte says that it's been a priority to cut taxes. Montana is considering making cuts to its individual income tax rate as a growing number of states have completely transitioned to eliminating the tax altogether. And let's see what happens there with cutting the income tax. We're going to go on over here. Okay, we're going to have a couple of accidents we're going to report on. All right. And we're going to go right to, no, it sucks not having these press releases from OSHA. I mean, it complicates things a little bit here, unless we go and do a Freedom of Information Act request for each one of them. And that gets a little bit expensive, I tell you. So that's basically it. Hold on.
You are listening to Safety Wars. Tomorrow's Safety Today.
In a world where danger lurks in every corner, one man stands as a beacon of hope. Jim Posel, a veteran safety expert with over 3 decades of experience, now bringing his knowledge to you with Safety Wars. Engaging, informative, and always relevant. That's Safety Wars. Join the safety revolution with Safety Wars, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts and videos.
Have you listened or watched the Safety War Show? It does stream live on the radio and on the streamer-emers that we have. So if you have not taken a listen to Jim Posel and what the hell he's doing every evening with Safety Wars, I would strongly encourage you to take a view or take a listen, whichever option is available for you, and take a listen to what the hell he has going on. It's definitely, it will take some deep dives and some information that you might be interested in.
Cities burning, skies are crying. Smoke and ashes keep us sighing. Homes are gone, we can't believe. Silent whispers in the breeze. Winds are howling, fires fierce. Fear and worry, hearts are pierced. Families running, nowhere to hide. Desperation on every side. Flames of Los Angeles lighting the night. Tears of sorrow in the fearsome fight. Lives are shattered, dreams ablaze. Flames, fiery haze.
Yes, that is Flames Over Los Angeles here by Safety Warrior. All right. Okay, we're going to be talking about, we're going to move on over to Cal OSHA here. So let's talk a little bit about this. Well, let's cover this one in, Des Moines, Iowa. A Des Moines, Iowa tire plant has been fined for the death of an employee. This is from KCCI.com. Jessica Royce was killed at work when a tire weighing several hundred pounds fell on her at Titan Tire. The report issued in January by OSHA says that the company will have to pay $15,625. That is this is where the paper got it wrong here. The site got it wrong. That's a proposed penalty here. So I got a copy of the this is from a previous accident report. So they had one in September that has not been posted to the OSHA website yet. But what I find interesting here is this. All right. So what did I just erase that? So this accident was, they give a date. It was this accident was September 6th, right? Here. Now the plant apparently no. Hold on. This was a different Titan tire. Sorry, hold on. Here. All right. So here we have the report from Titan Tire. What did they cite them on? I'm going to do a share screen on here. Hold on. There's another Titan Tire that had a lot of issues out here. I don't know if it's the same company or not. Here's the inspection detail here. All right. Where is this? Des Moines, Iowa. Okay, we got the right one this time. Initial violations 1, serious initial penalty. So 15,625. Again, they they might be what's the word I'm looking for? Contesting this. I'm going to guess that they probably are contesting this. So it was a powered industrial truck operation, right? So something to do with a powered industrial truck on here. Hold on. Penalty, informal settlement, 16,000. Okay, 15,625. Okay. So that's what was issued here. Probably because there was a fatality here. They weren't able to get things down here. So 1978, number 1, powered industrial trucks. And can this tell us anything? 01. 001. Go data O. I don't know. Let's see. NO 1. Only stable or safety range loads shall be handled. Caution shall be exercised when handling off-center loads, which cannot be centered. So apparently, the victim got crushed by something on a forklift that was off-center. That's how I'm interpreting this. So what about the other Titan tire? I don't know if they have any affiliation here with this one. But that one looks a hell of a lot more interesting to me. Titan Tire Corporation, Union City. We got a lot of stuff going on here. So 1910-023, what do we got there? Ladder issues. Right? And then we got another one, another ladder issue. 2. And 10 things going on here. 146, which is permit required confined space things going on there. 3, and now we have lockout tagout issues. Another 4. And then I don't know what this is. Let's look it up. TDLWD rule. Don't know what that is. No idea. TDLDW rule. Let me Let me look this up real quick. Tennessee Department of Labor Workforce Development has established comprehensive set of regulations known as Rule 80800 to govern various aspects of labor and workforce practices within the state. These rules are organized into specific things. All right. So what do we have? 800, right? Okay. 800-01. It was a record keeping issue of some sort. With that is what it came down to. So with that. So again, no, interesting. So Tennessee sounds like it has a something local thing going on there. And go on over. Stop the share. All right, now let's go on to the Promise California thing. All right. So we're going to the Cal OSHA Reporter. It's the journal of record for Cal OSHA and the occupational safety and health community. With this, it has a .com, so I don't know if this is a government website or not, so I'm not going to do this, right? I'm not going to. Seems pretty comprehensive here. So, all right. New rules for residential. This is from the 28th. New rules for residential construction and fall protection take effect in July in California. They're expected to be a major headache for the industry. However, the new Fed OSHA administration provide a reason for optimism for those seeking to retain the certain safety rules. I don't know. A fatal incident. Again, this is not a government website. So sorry, guys. It's a journal of record, but you need to have a subscription to it. So go figure. All right, let's find some other news here. That's pretty much all we have for tonight. So I'm going to call it a night here without, here. And come on back tomorrow. You're gonna be in store, especially for hour 2 of a really good program. We're gonna call it early here, and I will see you tomorrow. For Safety Wars and Safety FM, this is Jim Posel signing off.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company.